In 47 BC, Cleopatra VII gave birth to a son named Caesarion, whom she claimed was the son of Julius Caesar. Cleopatra then named Caesarion as co-ruler of Egypt in 44 BC and reigned over the kingdom with her son as co-rulers. However, whether the child was truly Caesar's son is uncertain. He was said to have inherited Caesar's looks and manners, but Caesar never officially acknowledged him as his own. One of Caesar's friends, Gaius Appius, even wrote a pamphlet denying that Caesarion was Caesar's son. Cleopatra died by suicide after she and Mark Antony were defeated by Octavian in 30 BC, and Caesarion was killed shortly after that. With no remains of Julius Caesar or Caesarion surviving, it is unlikely that scholars will ever be able to determine with certainty whether Caesar was truly Caesarion's father. Ancient writers have described a fantastic series of gardens once constructed at the ancient city of Babylon in modern-day Iraq. It's not clear when these gardens were built, but some writers were so impressed by the gardens that they called them a wonder of the world. Around 250 BC, Philo of Byzantium wrote that the Hanging Gardens had plants cultivated at a height above the ground level, and the roots of the trees were embedded in an upper terrace rather than in the earth. So far, archaeologists who have excavated in Babylon have been unable to find the remains of a garden that meets this description. This has left archaeologists with a question: did the Hanging Gardens really exist? In 2013, researchers at the University of Oxford proposed that the gardens were actually located at the Assyrian city of Nineveh. Over the past 2 decades, both Babylon and Nineveh have suffered damage from wars and looting, and it seems unlikely that this mystery will ever be fully solved. In 1957, an amateur archaeologist hiking through rural Maine found a small coin at what was thought to be an ancient Native American site. The location at Nasquik Point, known as the Goddard Site, was originally believed to be a sacred Indian site. When the silver coin was examined by a group of experts, it was identified as an 11th century Norwegian coin, which must have been carried over to North America by Viking sailors at some point. Immediately, it became one of the earliest examples of currency ever found in the Americas, and also the earliest known piece of Scandinavian silver that was found to be deposited on American shores. Archaeologists have since determined the coin was minted around 1065 AD and was likely used as a pendant rather than as a currency. However, it is still a mystery how the coin got to North America, and how long were Norse travelers here to have handed it over as a gift or trade item to natives. The issue is further complicated because the coin is the only 11th century Norse coin ever found in America. With no other examples to speak of, skeptics wonder if it isn't some kind of hoax. But archaeologists and historians simply don't know for sure. The story of King Arthur has been told and retold numerous times over more than 1,000 years. Camelot, the Knights of the Round Table, the Wizard Merlin, and the Sword Excalibur are all famous parts of the Arthurian tales. However, if King Arthur did really exist, the reality was likely less magical. The earliest surviving accounts date to the 9th century and tale of a leader, perhaps not even a king, who fought several battles against the Saxons, but even the accuracy of these accounts is debatable. There are a number of sites in Britain that legends link to King Arthur, such as Tintagel, a coastal site that was supposedly King Arthur's home. But excavations have not confirmed whether Arthur ever lived there or even existed. Ultimately, it seems unlikely that scholars will ever know for sure whether there was a real King Arthur or whether the man was purely fictional. In 587 BC, a Babylonian army under King Nebuchadnezzar II captured Jerusalem, sacking the city and destroying the first temple, a building used by Jewish people to worship God. The temple also contained the Ark of the Covenant, which carried tablets recording the Ten Commandments. The record of the Ark then vanished from historical records, and its fate still remains unknown. Ancient sources indicate that the Ark was either carried back to Babylon or hidden under the first temple before the city was captured. It's also possible that the Ark was destroyed during the city's sacking. In any event, the Ark's location is unknown. Since the disappearance, a number of stories and legends about the Ark's fate have been told. One story suggests the Ark eventually made its way to Ethiopia, where it's kept today. Another story says the Ark was divinely hidden and will not appear until a Messiah arrives. The Voynich manuscript was written in Central Europe 600 years ago, but scholars still have no idea what the pages say or even what language it is, as it's the only known example containing its looped alphabet. Researchers put forward new translations every year, but none have stuck so far. Recently, artificial intelligence suggested the words are Hebrew written in code, as previous experts have also proposed. But that study was only able to match 80% of the words to Hebrew, and even then produced incoherent sentences. The book was acquired in 1912 by book dealer Wilfrid Voynich, who claimed that it had been housed in an ancient castle in southern Europe. Written in an extinct language or code no one could recognize and filled with strange illustrations of fictitious plants and women, it has confused scholars and experts ever since, who tried and failed to crack the case. Over the years, several people have professed to decipher it, but each time have been greeted with massive chorus of doubts. Some suspect the whole thing is an elaborate hoax. Now housed at Yale University, the manuscript is available to the public for anyone interested in trying to solve the puzzle once and for all. For more than 2 centuries, stories have circulated that Oak Island, located off Nova Scotia, Canada, held a money pit of buried treasure supposedly left by the pirate Captain William Kidd. Over that time, numerous expeditions costing millions of dollars have traveled to the island searching for the lost treasure to no avail. Despite centuries of searching, no treasure has been found on Oak Island. Nevertheless, that doesn't stop people from trying to find it. A History Channel reality TV show called The Curse of Oak Island even follows a modern-day expedition.